months.
Okay, everybody. Hi. It is Lady Wolverton, Jen, and I've got Johnny Be Crazy and Revengeance with me. We're going to be talking about Westworld. We talked a little bit about Dolores the other day, but today we are going to be talking about Maeve and the Man in Black, and then some theories that the casual watcher probably hasn't picked up on. And I am one of those people. I love the show, but I'm just a casual watcher. Okay? So I'm going to start by doing a recap of what we did the other day, which was in episode 1, Dolores is talking to someone. Arnold or Bernard. She's talking to Bernard, but a lot of people believe that Bernard is at least Arnold in the subconscious.
And a good hint to pay attention to distinct the two.
Listen, we've got to do something about your sound.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Yeah, let me mute while you talk and see if that doesn't help.
Okay, let's say I'm outside.
That's better.
Okay, I was about to say there's something out here, but
okay. So I was talking about our first scene is we hear people. One of them is Dolores, who is a host. That is somebody who entertains at the Westworld Park, but seems human. And the person she is talking to is Bernard, who is supposed to be a person, but a lot of people think is a host with Arnold, one of the inventors of the programs and the park's subconscious.
Or he was the original host. I'm not sure. I mean, that theory is still out there.
Yeah, that is a good.
Go ahead, Reed. What were you going to say earlier?
What I was going to say is a good thing to point out to distinguish between Arnold scenes and Bernard is usually when it's Arnold, he's usually dressed a lot in black. You'll see him in the darker colors, and it's usually all black or dark gray and black suits. I think that has to do with maybe the death of his son or something, or that's just in my mind how I relate to it. But you will notice, though, as you go further into it, that the more that it's Arnold, the darker his clothes are.
Right. And also, when we see Arnold in season 2, I'm not trying to spoil, but he talks about how his wife says he lives in the park. And he lives there, but he hasn't moved them there yet. So, still no one but Ford and Dolores have ever seen Arnold.
Right.
So
that's why it's interesting.
Or yeah.
Yeah, so Arnold and Ford, who is Ford played by Anthony Hopkins?
Anthony Hopkins.
Yes.
Very
genius. Famous actor.
Yes, he's a genius. Hannibal Lecter.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I can't even do it. I don't even want to do that. It's so creepy. But
I know. I can hear it in my head.
Well, when we see Ford, he's very unsympathetic to the host. It seems he just thinks of them as things, and he's basically updated a few of the hosts with reveries to make them more human-like. At least that's what we're led to believe in the beginning.
And Arnold originally was the one who created the reveries, and but we don't know that, of course, till the end of season 1 when Ford mentions that, and that's what triggered Dolores to wake up the first time, I believe. But he stopped it, and I think that's why he kind of did it during season 1 when he did that update, was to kind of set it all in motion. That where he figured out that Arnold was right, and he should have never opened the park, and setting his plan into motion. Then at that point,
you want me to tell you my theory?
Yeah.
I think Dolores was recording when she saw the weapon 35 years ago. That's why he changed his mind, and he's been planning it ever since. The hosts have been breaking their loops and practicing this for years. We know that Maeve has done this many times, that Bernard has done this many times. Dolores, at least, has done it twice. So
Right.
that's very interesting.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They speak about Dolores even like it's something, a common thing. Like, oh yeah, she does this all the time.
Always wandering off and breaking her loose.
Always right. Oh yeah, just let her go. She's just this all the time. That was Stubbs' reaction, basically.
And I believe all those 47 original hosts built and created by Arnold, those are the ones that are always breaking their loop. Those are the ones that are killing everyone now, I think.
Right.
That's why you still have hosts that are on their loop, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we're getting ahead, I guess. Let's talk about Maeve. Maeve, we see Maeve before. Did we see Maeve? Yeah, we see Maeve before the Men in Black. So, yeah.
Jen, are
Go
we
ahead.
confusing you too much yet?
Oh, you're on mute, Jen.
I don't even think she noticed.
I don't know. I think we're.
May is one of the prostitutes, right?
She's the madam.
Oh, I thought you said May. I thought you said May. You said Maeve. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love her. I love Tandy Newton, and she is my favorite character.
She's a really good character.
And I'm sorry, but what they were worried about, characters having residual memories, she definitely has them.
She honestly is the only one that is truly alive.
Yeah, I think she's.
Wait a minute, your sound's messing up again, Ree.
Is that better? My dog is barking.
Go ahead, yes.
I think Maeve is the only one that's truly alive. Even I don't think Dolores even is. I think Dolores is kind of on a mixed program, basically, that has set her on a track where she is awake, but she's kind of like almost like a schizophrenic. Almost is the best way to put it, where she's hearing the voices in her head. She different things, she doesn't quite know what to do. But Maeve is to me the most truly human person on the show, and it makes me also wonder too exactly what kind of control she has. Is she essentially now a goddess in this world? Because I haven't seen Dolores even.
Well, let me say this. Dolores is also starting to catch on that things in the world, in their world, are not right. However, Maeve is not only catching on to that, but she has memories. And I think even if she didn't birth her daughter, she has that connection a mother would have with a child, regardless. And you would do anything for your child.
Maternal bond, there really isn't. And if anyone who doubts that, go call your mama, because you love her.
They made a huge mistake when they changed her story and separated her from that child.
Yeah, I agree. Because that was even after they erased her memory. The first thing she did was take her own life again. In the memory, it was just too much for her. And like they said, the suffering, when they're suffering the most, is when you're most alive. So, I mean, what greater suffering really is there that we've seen, at least in Westworld, by far?
Another thing I love about Wit about Maeve, is her wit. She is talking to somebody, I think Teddy, comes into the bar, and she asks him if he's lost or something like that. And he says, "I don't like to pay for it, ma'am." And she said, you always pay for it, sweetheart. Just our prices are on the door.
Oh, okay.
And let's be honest, and I'm sorry, Johnny, you're a guy. You know that at the end of the day, you always pay, whether it's dinner or whatever, ain't free, never. And it can be said for vice versa.
Can I say something on Maeve real quick?
Sure.
Oh, please, yeah.
On your point on her child and what happened with the child and how, they really messed up when they did that. I agree. I believe the 47 hosts, they're conscious, but they haven't broken the loop yet. Maeve has broken her loop, and I believe that experience did it. So if any of the hosts have free will, it would seem to only be Maeve at this point, but we don't know. Ford could have written a code.
I think Dolores, if she does not have free will yet, she's getting there.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I think she's still on a Ford program, a Ford narrative, and she thinks she's awakening. She is, yes, but it's part of Ford's programming for her to awaken like this. I don't think she fully will until later. Now, speaking of Dolores and Teddy, though, really quick, and theories. I know you're just finished on season 1. At the very beginning of season 2, you're going to see Bernard wake up on the beach. I'm just going to tell you this part.
But wait, let's stay on season 1 first for a minute. After we get that season with Maeve, and she does come across as very more worldly, even though she's supposed to be an AI, an artificial.
She's already been out in the world.
She has.
Right. But we already see her as a very intelligent, even if she is not human. But
interacted and
Dolores and Teddy at this point are still very much dreamers.
Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, all of them, when you think about it, have, because like when we see William first arrive and stuff, they're all interacting with the world and stuff, But okay, my point really, what I was trying to get at, which that's a side note. So, but Dolores has a control over Teddy, and I think that's ultimately Teddy is going to be her destruction, because of, like you said, how he pays for it every time. Mae was talking about that. He pays for it, just their prices are posted on the door. He paid for it whenever whenever he killed all the people, and he's like, what have I done? Why did I just do this? And he doesn't even know why he's killing all these people, and he's doing it under Dolores's command, basically Dolores's will for her.
Well, or Wyatt. It's actually Wyatt's persona.
It's Wyatt's
persona now. So yeah.
Wasn't even programmed in until later. He didn't even add the Wyatt storyline until later this season, But it was Dolores all along that did it. They just erased it,
Mm-hmm.
But Dolores has that much control over him. And you'll remember too, when she was talking before, like I think it was the first or second episode, they were watching the steer, and they were talking about the Judas steer. How it's just the one steer that kind of wanders off, and all the rest of them follow. And I really do think that's what she's doing. That she's got Teddy as her Judas steer, and she's gonna have the rest of them following him while she just tells Teddy where to go.
Yeah, and her path always leads her back to him and the Man in Black.
And
I think it's exactly.
Okay, can I ask you guys something? Because I said I was just a casual watcher.
Yes,
Do you
please.
remember when William kind of helped Dolores? Wasn't that in season 1? To hunt down those outlaws who I think he thought had his brother-in-law or whatever. And
No.
they kind of hooked up or whatever.
What it all was a memory. She basically was wondering
Hold on. Sounds bad.
Hold on, I'm gonna do something to your sound real quick. I'm gonna turn you up. Now talk.
Okay. Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. When, see, now I forgot. I lost my place. What were we talking about? Thank
William.
you. All right. Okay.
We were talking about
she's wondering.
William and
Yeah. She's seeing William, and she's thinking about when you're
they
seeing.
were friends.
Yeah, you're seeing all the flashbacks basically in the timeline. That all ends up being current timeline. It's her memories of it. Like she's wondering about the park that whole time, going through it all again and just seeing it in her head.
Just like we see in the beginning of season 2.
But it just tells us it's just us. A way for us to see the story. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that, interrupt you. But that was just a way for them to show us the story. It just appeared more in flashbacks. But she was actually just wandering the park that whole time. She was going through the maze of the entire season 1, basically.
Yes. She had been wandering her loop. She's remembering everything that happened with William. And gosh, I lost what I was going to say in my head. Oh gosh, someone help me out here. Anyway, oh yeah, when she was with William, they didn't go rescue anyone. They were going on an adventure, and she had
her company.
She had killed a host. She had killed something for the first time, at least that's what we thought. And she saw a flash of the man in black, and that's what enabled her to kill him. And then she ran from the house because her mother and father had been killed. When she ran from the house, that's how she got there, and she fell into William's arms, and then William just took her with them. And he was kind of trying to protect her and keep her out of trouble the whole time because he could tell that she was conscious.
Which basically was and see that's confusing to me even because that shows how it goes off another loop even because that was another time that she went off her loop and wandered off when she ran into William.
Mm-hmm.
Because when she sees Rebus and he's the man in black coming after her and she shoots him, then she comes out of her loop again. That's the current timeline, and then she goes wandering. So yeah, the timelines are really crazy. And I've seen where people have tried to lay them out and stuff. But yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna go ahead and just tie it together because we're getting a little farther in the show. So with the Men in Black, you know, we first saw him when he comes and he basically takes Dolores in a barn and rapes and murders her. And that's how we're introduced to the Man in Black. You know, he kills Teddy. And then, you know, he just lets Teddy shoot him, and he lets Teddy put the gun up to his head, and he taunts him, and, you know, Teddy just about has a breakdown.
Right.
And
he's a villain.
Right. So, you know, he's the ultimate bad guy. And at that point, you kind of don't know, you have no idea that the two timelines are different.
Right.
Because you think it's the next day when she runs off to.
Okay, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Does this make sense? When I realized that there were two, and y'all can call me slow if you like, I don't mind admitting it. I watched the show, I like it, but I have to really watch close, and sometimes I want to watch. I watched 4 season 1 episodes again, and I watched a couple of the new episodes more than once. But is it when I realized that the man in black was what, Michael, or
William.
the one who helped Dolores when he was younger?
William.
It showed him
Right.
putting that hat on. Do y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Why?
Now that their face had the same features, except he no longer wore a white hat, he wore a black hat. And didn't he used to wear a white hat?
Yeah, he started out as a white.
When he first gets stressed, he really he thinks it's a dumb idea. I think as far as going to the park, he's going to go, just kill some time. And that's what we don't know. We do not know what happened to make him not only make this a family, because he says in the show he's been bringing his family there for 30 years, but that this time he wants a different experience. He wants to be just as bad as he can be.
Now, also, he's been there for 2 weeks, and we're going to go back and get to Maeve. And in the first season, she starts to have flashbacks of her with a child. And then I believe the second episode is when she flashbacks and sees the man in black killing her and her child.
He says when he went back, when he goes there with Logan for the first time, William does. Logan tells him that he thinks it's there as like a pre-wedding vacation getaway thing. And he's like, I thought this was a vacation. And Logan tells him, no, it's business. Everything's business in our family. So it was right before he got married.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In fact,
no. I'm talking about when the man in black showed up in the park. It was 2 weeks.
Okay. And what me and Reed...
Like when we first see him in the season, he had been there for 2 weeks.
Okay. I'm sorry, Johnny. I didn't mean to interrupt you. But I believe what Reed was talking about was... before he puts on that hat and we realize, hey, William is the man in black, like 30 plus years later. The first time he went there begrudgingly with his shit of a brother-in-law. Right. And it was kind of for a bachelorette trip or a bachelor trip.
He's good now, doesn't he?
He
doesn't look so bad now.
All right.
You being facetious, right?
Insecure about losing their hair, don't be, because Ed Harris is like a hunk at any age, and yeah.
Ed Harris.
Ed Harris.
He's a good-looking dude, but except for that movie, and I like to go off topic ever so often in chat because it's fun. You guys have seen that movie where Meryl Streep is his best friend and he kills himself by jumping out the window, and he's always calling her Mrs. Dalloway, which is a favorite book about a woman who always tried to do everything perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nuts movie that he was in. But I liked him in like Stepmom. Oh, he was just in a movie called Chrome on Netflix about getting film developed, where they were finna stop developing this film because they were going to run out of the paper. You guys, that's worth a watch on Netflix if you don't got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
It's got Ed Helm, I think, not Dakota Fanning, but her sister, and then Ed Harris in it. It's on Netflix. Did I just fuck y'all up? Did y'all forget what y'all was talking about?
No. I mean, what do you want to pick up, Rick?
No, I was...
I can't hear you.
Hold on, we can't hear you again. Let me mute.
Okay.
Okay.
You're
much better when we're muted.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. My mic probably. Like Hector and Maeve. I just was curious what you thought of that situation, and what do you think is going to happen with it? Jen, because you're new to it.
What do I think about what? Hold on just a second. My husband's bitch.
Okay, so I'll go really run down. We've seen him, he showed her, or she showed him, that what was really going on, with the bullet coming out and all that. We know there's some kind of chemistry between them.
Okay, sorry, you guys. Yo, hush. What was the question? See, I can't hear you. Hold on.
See, what had happened was.
Yeah, you tell me, Johnny, because unless I'm muted, I can barely hear Ree, and I've got her turned all the way up and us turned all the way down.
Go ahead and mute it, and then I'll keep it going for a minute.
Okay.
Get some questions from the chat.
Okay, yeah.
All right, the bullet. Who's pulling the bullet out? Sexy scene. Where they were on the safe. Maybe it was on the. Are you there, Bree?
I'm here. Yeah, no, I was just talking about all of it in general. About about how she shows him what they've been doing, and in a way, I mean, it kind of opens his eyes. She geeks him up a little, his attributes and everything, and just the chemistry between them and all. And I was just curious what she thought about that whole plot and where she thinks it will go.
I think they're actually in love, but I think Teddy loves Dolores, and Dolores don't give two shits about Teddy, really.
I hope, honestly, my perfect end game is Teddy killing Dolores.
That would be him. I think, what if he's a Trojan horse? He ends up getting on Dolores' side. They put his CPU in Bernard's body. He doesn't.
That's what I think. Reach Bernard. I think that.
Yeah, I made a video on that this week because I thought it was so crazy. Huh?
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh my!
So weird. But,
no, I do know. I think that is. I think that is, and I think it was kind of like her way to infiltrate him, to show him. I mean, what better way? Think of her. I think she's the villain. Honestly, I think Dolores is the villain, and I think Maeve's more the hero.
Right, but we don't know. Dolores is so on a rage path right now that she hasn't even had a chance to calm down. And we don't know if that's just her straight up Ford sending her to do this mission. We know she's capable of murder, but, Ford says he gave her a choice, but he really didn't give her much of a choice. He knew when he told her the truth, she would kill him. So, I don't know.
Their order that he was giving her, basically, and telling her, hey.
1,000 different types of macaroni. Yeah, macaroni and stuff. Then spaghetti. This or the other one I get sometimes, but I can't think.
Let me see if I can hear you, Ray. Where are we at? Yeah, I can't hear you, Ray.
So anyway.
Hey, Jen. There you go. All right. Where are we at?
Yeah, like.
Uh-oh.
I think you're for TV. Jen, you got your TV on?
She muted it again.
Marie Hill is saying in the chat that basically when anybody else is talking, we all need to mute because they are noticing whenever anybody is talking, it's slower unless everybody who's not talking is muted. So, Ree, you fixing to talk? I'm going to mute.
Okay. Well, actually, Jen, I want to hear what you have to say. I was asking you about what you thought about Maeve and Hector, so I'm going to mute now, and you tell me what you think about their relationship and what you think is going to happen with it.
Hector, that fine-ass gunslinger, the one that she found and loves, and they did it at the brothel, and then they did it again, and then she found him after the slaughter of the, catered launch party. Is that what you mean? Man, I love Hector. I don't think it'll last because this is just not a world conducive to, they're like a Bonnie and Clyde of an earlier date, if you will. I mean, even the couples in Game of Thrones end up with better endings, But I think they're going to do some hella killing together and probably save each other once or twice and in the process have a good ass time doing it. And I love him.
Supposed to be going back into the fun, huh?
That's who you mean, right?
That's exactly. Yeah, I love them too. I'm like all rooting for him. I love them together. She also gave up his attributes and all too. So I mean, I know he's still under her control, but I wonder exactly what he increased. Because I remember the scene in the tent with the fire, and he was pretty knowledgeable and inside the mesa compound. Blah, sorry, and and also, is anyone else wondering who Sylvester is?
Let's go to the chat for a minute, though. Is that cool?
Let's do that.
Okay. So we was talking about Hector. Bubba Husky says, "Hey Jen, hey sweetie, so good to see you, Bubba. Bubba, y'all can catch him on Amino if nowhere else." Chrissy of Old Stones says hello, and I asked her would I have children since she's probably a prophet and a half children of the forest. All right.
She only took maybe 2 hits off it.
Marie says those not speaking need to move. LMR says Hector is a fine ass gunslinger. Connie Super, Iron Trone, his walk was disturbing. I'm not sure who she's talking about. Iron Trone, oops, 1973, not 1979. Okay, Chrissy of Old Stones, Hector is so fine. LMR at Chrissy, tall, dark, and handsome. Two lollipops, and I guess that's either a barrel of beer or honey. The one who bores me the most is Dolores. That's from Marie of Game of Theories with Marie. Living My Rhapsody, still talking up Hector. Chrissy of Old Stone, I think, is laughing at Marie. Iron Throne said, Yul Brynner in the 1973 Westworld OG movie. My husband, who is 16 years older than me, he loves that original Westworld movie. He said that was kind of like a very different, a lot of the young people say it's kind of weak nowadays, but he said during his day, that was kind of the cool movie that come out, you know what I mean? That you had never seen before.
Actually, I went through like a big Western kick when I was younger, and I used to watch a lot of old movies in general. But no, I used to see Westworld and Future World, and I recommend watching them just because.
Okay, Chrissy of Old Stones says, hi, Johnny. BBM says that he hasn't seen the old school movie. And Marie says Dolores bores her to death. And then Chrissy of Old Stones agrees with Marie, and they're at Team Maeve, and so am I. Eduardo Blanco says it was the first movie using CGI. That's a pretty cool fact. Ian Trone, there was also a 5-episode Westworld TV series on CBS in 1980. it got canceled after 3 episodes aired. Okay, that's the chat. Ree, whatever you were trying to say before I went back into the chat telling Johnny hi from Chrissy, we really couldn't understand what you were saying. So say that, and then Johnny, why don't you tell us anything you think we need to know that we've missed, if that's okay?
Yeah, what I was going to say was if you have not seen Westworld, the movie, or Future World, the movie, I was in a really big kick back in the day, just with Westerns in general and just old movies in general. But I recommend checking them out anyways, especially if you like Westworld. It'll give you just a little bit of idea of what you're watching too. But they are good movies too, just because. That's all I was really saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, they're really interesting. I've only seen like half of the first one, but it's kind of funny just to see them old movies and how they compare to
I
nowadays.
didn't really like some, and he's 57.
What happened? I don't know what just happened. Okay, so we'll pick up where, let's see, Dolores starts to break her loop. I don't know. Help me out, Jen. Ask me a question. I kind of got lost. I'm sorry.
Okay, what I meant when I said after we spoke and after we checked the chat out, there are, I think, some things you've noticed, not only just in the trailers for this season, but just seduced yourself. Why don't you tell one of us just casual watchers, in layman's terms, some things you think you were going on that most people would have missed. And Ree, you do the same after he, or vice versa.
I was probably in my 20s or 30s.
Oh, and hey Cameo, good to see you.
Hey Cameo. I don't know. A few things we could have missed. I don't know if we've already talked about them or not. You've got, well, whether the MIB, Men in Black, is going to have a redemption story arc. It's complicated to know.
I think he is. I mean, and I don't watch the show very, but I really think that he is. I don't, unless, and people have speculated about this. What do you think about the fact that he's terminally ill, possibly, and just doesn't give an F?
I mean, it's possible, but he seems strong as shit for a 65-year-old man. I mean, he kicks the shit out of folks. He's the badass. The most badass. He's the Barristan Selmy of Westworld. He's, yeah. Go ahead. But, yeah, all he wants to do is have the stakes be real. His wife basically killed herself, and his daughter blamed him for it. Now he has basically no daughter and no wife. So if you thought he was pissy before, when we see him as William later being mad, then he's really crazy. But maybe now that the stakes are real, he says he's going to burn the whole thing to the ground, and I don't think he's going to save the host either. I think he's going to burn them all to the ground, or try to.
Now, when he said that, I took him at his word. Because in, a sick, twisted, that really probably will only be fulfilling for a minute way, he blames, I guess, going to that place so much as part of why he let his wife and daughter down. Does that make sense?
Yes. His the theory is his wife had to have known or heard about some of the stuff he did. Maybe Logan told her. I mean, that is his sister. So, and she just, and he became a shrewd businessman. He really changed. He said he knew how the world works now, and he's just a dickhead, for lack of a better term. And basically, he just never spent any time with the family, and he was just not a good person, even though he does have charities.
Yeah, no. I know exactly, I know people like that. And, I'd rather be poor and rich in goodness, and good in spirit and good to my other fellow humans than rich where I could buy anything or anyone. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.
Yes. And Ree, I know you probably want to cut in. This mute thing's killing us. So go ahead and cut in and say a couple things.
And if I could just real quick though, this is what Jamie meant when they were loading the money for the Iron Bank in those wagons. And he said, this money's not mine. The more you own, the more it weighs you down. That's true. That's true. I promise you, you'd rather be happy living in a one-room hut.
Yeah, you could argue. I'm sorry. You could argue that William is less human than Dolores or Maeve.
Were you trying to say something to what I said, but your microphone was muted?
Yeah, I'm sorry. You could say that
Dirty right.
Dirty right. I'm sorry.
you can say that William is less human than a lot of the hosts like Dolores and Maeve. In a sense, he kind of lost his humanity in that part. Go ahead, Rick.
Wait, before you go, Ree, I just want to say this. That's a good effing point. Because, honestly, there are some people who have so much more humanity than other people, and they don't have to even be robots.
And on that note, I will say William's wife. I don't like her very much. I already know it. I already got that feeling. And I think that's probably why he would spend so much time at the park. I just got that feeling. Just already got that feeling. Okay. What I want to tell you is what I see when I look at it, because I have fallen really deep into the rabbit hole. Okay, first of all, I see two things. I see Disney, like reality Disney, and I live right here in Florida, right by Orlando. I grew up going to Disney World and all that stuff my entire life. Imagineers, the Hall of Presidents, It's Small World, all that stuff. So the fact of something like Westworld actually happening, I can see it. And yeah, so that's scary on its own level. Now, I have fell down the rabbit hole, and this is something to pay attention to when you're watching it, especially. And it's about consciousness, because the whole thing it comes down to about bicameral mind and about the host becoming conscious. That's them becoming awake, and that's what the maze is all about. Season 1 is all about the maze for the host. It wasn't ever for William to begin with. And, the whole time he was searching for that game that was never meant for him. But I think at the end of the day, I think it's going to come back to that I do think that those original ones, like they said, they either end up mad or awake. I think the original ones that had the original reveries will reach that consciousness and be truly awake like Maeve and alive. And I do think that we are going to see the progression of evolution in them. And I don't know if anyone watches Futurama. I'm like a Futurama geek and I've seen them all. But if you have, and you've seen the one with Professor Farnsworth where he does a little robot evolution on the planet, I just kind of think about that. So that's just some food for thought if you are Futurama nerds too.
Bernard actually tells Dolores that nothing is coincidence. And he also, when he asks her about the newcomers, she says, well, we like the newcomers. We know they're just all trying to, find something or something they're looking for. And then he basically lets her know that nothing is coincidence and that the newcomers are to use them for their pleasure. And then he also tells her that the revelries are movements based on memory that Ford invented to make the host seem more real. And he's just being very candid with Dolores. And I think that's going to play a big part. I know we think Maeve is a little bit more human, but I think Dolores is going to be kind of both human and artificial in the way that she has less empathy and more resentment, if that makes any sense. We'll see. I could be wrong. We'll know probably by the end of the year.
No, I see what you mean. I agree. I can see that too. I just don't like Dolores is what it comes down to at the end of the day. I just really do not like her. But and I do. I really want Teddy just to kill her. That's my happy ending. I watch too much stuff. I just see Skynet happening and just all kinds of stuff. She's Terminator, man. It's Terminator.
Get over here now.
What do you think, Johnny? Unmute, babe.
I got lost. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, whether Dolores. What I think about Dolores? Yeah. She's a homicidal maniac at this point, but you almost can't blame her. But she can't use it as an excuse either because Maeve isn't a homicidal maniac. Well, she's killed a few people, but
for a good reason. But Dolores, when she is all like, these violent delights have violent endings. Is that what she's always saying? That's creepy. Yeah. And I got to tell you, if somebody ever did something really horrible to me, I would get great satisfaction about saying something like that to them. Like, say, my family was somewhere and got blown up by some weird group. It would give me great pleasure to blow them up. And right before I did so, say, these violent delights have violent ends, or whatever it is she says.
As far as the violent delights have violent ends, it's almost like a virus or a transferring code because it gets said to Maeve. Dolores says it to Maeve, and that's when Maeve starts to see her flashes. And then it gets said to more and more people. Abernathy, when he wigs out in the first episode, he's the first one that says it.
Or Johnny, AIDS. A virus that people get from basically partying it up like they do in Westworld at a lot of the brothels.
Well, they said they cured every disease and cancer.
Okay, well I missed that, but still a good I guess just, simile or comparison to how living like that will get you in this day and age. And even with the gun violence. 5 people got shot here in New Orleans on like Monday night.
Oh my goodness.
Not doing anything. Just sitting in a bar. Somebody came in, opened fire with an AK.
In school, the teachers. It's crazy.
Re-say that, Ree. We couldn't hear you.
I said they're voting here in Florida on whether or not to arm the teachers and stuff in schools, give them guns. It's getting crazy.
That makes no sense. But yeah, that is crazy. You got any more questions, Jen? I kind of lost my train of thought here. I apologize.
I actually don't for today because it was a crazy day for me and I didn't get to watch as many previous episodes as I wanted, nor read as many backstories. I mean, there's now where you can read the backstories on Google, about characters like Maeve, for instance, is Maeve Malay, host, Maeve the Madam. We know her alias is her name, that she had a child, where she lived at before she, you know what I mean? So we're getting more and more backstory, not only with things that are coming out from super fans, and more than probably to sell merchandise, which is why I don't believe we're getting wins till after 2018. I believe it's all about the merchandise, the merchandising. But, no, where do you guys want to pick up? You're saying ask Ree? Ree, unmute. And when is it cool for you to pick
up? Okay, I was going to say, oh Lord, what was I going to say? We could pick up anywhere you like. But something that, I know what I was going to say. Something for everybody to pay attention to would be their names. Because I have noticed that the names have meanings to them. For example, armistice means treaty. And we got Teddy Flood. So just something to start paying attention to. Don't know exactly that all of them.
And you know what I also thought of with Teddy?
Yeah, what?
Theodore Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt, who my favorite book is not The Rough Rider. He actually led the cavalry during the American Indian Wars, killed all the horses they used. But my favorite book by him is The War of 1812, when we beat Britain in a sea battle right around where I live in New Orleans and made America a world power. So Teddy seems quite shy and reserved now, but he will fight for what is his. Mark me. And I hate to say it like Bonnie Prince Charlie on Outlander, but every time that fool goes, mark me. But seriously, I think we're going to see more from Teddy. Like right now, it's easy to see Teddy as somebody who doesn't step up unless he absolutely has to. I think we're really going to see him become a leader for the good of the people who are just trying to live good lives in Westworld.
I agree. Said you're only here to be the loser, so no, he's going to come back and be a winner. I just don't see that for him. I agree with you there.
Thank you, Ray. Yeah, Like you're talking about when he called him, "You're just such a loser, Teddy." That was very foreshadowing, I think.
Another thing, really, and if you're a gamer, I know you think about this already. This is another possible reality because we're already in VR gaming. So a world of gaming existing like this for the extreme rich could actually exist. This could be our next level of gaming 20 years from now for our kids, for our grandkids. Look at how far technology is coming. Look how advanced gaming is coming. We ain't playing Atari and Pong no more. No, 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 no.
Oh, I completely believe that. And I also believe that right now, the rich can get organs they need. The rich can buy themselves out of trouble.
Exactly, I agree.
The rich can call doctors to their homes and never have to leave. And I've seen a few of these things happen by the very rich, and it'll make you sick. But
Yeah.
I mean, it already happens to some extent. That's why we can't ever go with socialism, because the few will have a lot and the more will have less.
Yes. I agree with all that you said. I just want to throw another thing out there for you to pay attention to this season. The lone wolf. Who is the lone wolf? Is it Ford? Is it Teddy? Honestly, don't know yet, but I know it's very important and that it needs to be paid attention to. And also Bernard waking up on the beach and finishing Carl Strand's sentence, and also re-seeing someone being shot. We have to question whether he's either living a memory at that moment, or whether all of this has already happened before. Go ahead.
I believe history always repeats itself to an extent. And I believe Arnold and Ford were unhappy with the way things had gone the first time. And we don't have enough backstory on that. That's another thing we need more backstory on.
Yeah, I honestly have this idea that Ford's father's name is Arnold, and I think Ford's father, I don't know, he said he remade the family that was made by Arnold for him to make it more likely, and he seems to really not like his father. He portrayed him as a drunk and an abusive guy. It doesn't make sense that he's in the middle of that picture with Arnold smiling all happily inside the park. It kind of doesn't make sense. They don't seem to have had such a close relationship, in my opinion.
That doesn't make sense at all. I mean, you know yourself that if you grew up with an abusive parent, whether you had them nice or not, it's even hard to reconcile them in later years. I mean, I had a friend who was molested by her father, and it was all she could do to just even be. Sometimes she could be cordial, like, "Hey, I'm glad you're doing well," but other times, if she was going through her own shit, she'd just be like, "Look, Faith, that was her little sister. I'll take you to get your daughter or whatever you need, but I don't even want to go in." So, I mean, having an abusive parent is something that some people never get over. And I just can't imagine that unless some people really do treat their issues by facing them. I certainly try to treat my shyness by making myself do things that I'm uncomfortable doing. I was 100% nervous and worried that I wasn't going to be able to hold my own with you guys tonight, etc. And, you know, this is how I push through those kinds of things. Though it took me years and many butterflies to do that. You know what I mean? Like, even I used to be painfully shy as a child. Even to raise my hand and ask the teacher a question, I would almost be sick to my stomach. So I promise it's a constant work in progress, just like sobriety, just like Overeaters Anonymous, just like any addiction or hardship you face. It's something you have to really kind of tackle every single day. Some days more than others. Ree, got something for us, babe?
But you get up every day, and that's the important part. As long as you step up and put them feet on the ground and get up every day, that's all that matters.
But I used to not, girl. When I first became disabled and was so downtrodden about almost losing my um, left leg, I mean, I probably slept 8 years easily. Or I used to tell people my favorite time of the day is when I'm asleep because I don't have to remember that I'm not 100%. But now I realize that not being perfect doesn't make you 100%.
There's no such thing as perfect. That's the beautiful part about it. We're all unique and different, and we're all broken and messed up and crazy and chaotic. And that's what makes us beautiful, and that's what makes us perfect in our own special ways.
People know what I
There's
mean.
nobody else like you in the entire world or like anybody else. And that's what makes this world a wonderful place.
You have to get to a point, though, where you're accepting of the fact that it's okay to be different and it's okay to be glad about it.
Well, I'm a fellow cripples, bastards, and broken things, for lack of a better term, and I feel your pain. Almost literally. I've, I'm, I'm still disabled now. I'm trying to get there and get back on track. But it's a hard thing. You lose your entire life like that, and you just don't know what to do. Go ahead, Rick.
It is. It's a daily struggle. It really is. I fight with it every day of my life. I have my entire life.
Friends who don't understand why you never feel good.
I go through too. So, Jen, I want to say something really quick just because I see him talking a little bit about her, and I don't think we've really mentioned her. And I want to throw this out there really quick about Charlotte. Um, I'm just curious if anyone else thinks that Charlotte is really Charlie and that Charlie didn't die. That's just a cornerstone memory planted in. Not to change the subject on you there. I'm sorry. I just want to see where they were talking about Charlotte over there. Is anyone else thinking that though?
I think it's possible if Arnold was real. Or
it's possible. I haven't thought about it that much. Excuse me, y'all. I need to get a tissue.
You're okay, hon.
Believe me, Lady Wolverton will cry. And I almost find it very freeing because when I was a young child and very painfully shy, I was mortified to cry in front of people. But you know what? It actually is a strong thing to be able to do.
It is. It's when you don't cry that you got to be worried.
yes, even I cry. No one make fun of me in the chat.
Well, I just feel if I
all
can
the time.
be a person who feels like they're lonely or maybe their life didn't turn out the way they thought it would and they're unhappy for whatever reason, I'm telling you guys, I was probably so down for like 10 years, but I worked my way out of it. And I work my way out of it every day. You just got to decide that you want better for yourself and do it. And it might be baby steps, but hey, just one baby step a day is better than nothing.
Yeah, and a good community and good friends keep you going. I'm sorry. Oh, go ahead, Rhea. I apologize.
Oh, you're okay. And it's not having a bunch so much. And believe it or not, Jen, you'd be surprised how many people in this community right here and are all with us in the same little boat, that feel the same way and have been through the same thing. And that's something that we learned just on hangouts and game bangers, for a fact, we made jokes. You can ask Kimmy about it. About we should have named it Broken Bangers or something, because it just says that sometimes. But yeah,
I just want to say we love you, Jen, and we are here for you. Okay, if you ever need to
and
talk, you can call me.
I want to read a little bit of the stuff in the chat, or you guys can if you'd like to. Um, but I know that you're pretty new to being in my chats, Johnny, but there's no telling somebody they're wrong here or being mean to them, because this is something that I do. Like, I would go and play on a softball team if I didn't have a bun arm, or play tennis if I could still run or something. So I have my Thursday night book club and my special streams. That's what I do. So let me see. I just want to read from the chat. Okay, where are we at? I think we're on. Okay, Broke Black Man 94. Johnny, you might need to take this. See, here is the thing. In episode 2 of season 2, Arnold mentions he has a son. In season 1, we see Bernard have a flashback of his son dying. So far, there is no mentioning of a daughter.
I don't believe the theory. I was just throwing it out there. But there's a lot of people think Charlie was digitally enhanced, but I know that doesn't. You make a great point, Broke Black Man.
I remember that Bernard and his wife had a son who died of like a childhood leukemia, and they never really could come back together after that, basically. And I think that was completely real. And I think that kind of changed the things that he did in the park. Okay, Chrissy of Old Stone says, thank you, Jen. I needed to hear that. You are so welcome, Chrissy. And you can get me at Jennifer Wolverton Facebook, Messenger, Jennifer Wolverton 1976 Twitter. If you ever need to talk, just text me. And if I'm up, I'll call you back. Now, if I'm asleep, I sleep a lot still. I just like to, but it's also because I stay up late a lot. Like tonight, I plan on watching every show. Fear of the Walking Dead. It is Sunday, right? Fear of the Walking Dead, Billions, Into the Badlands, Westworld. You know what I mean? If it comes on, I'm watching it. Oh, I love the arrangement, even though it's kind of trashy. So, I love it. Okay, so yeah. Let me see what. Okay, Cammy, get up every day. Crap, I forgot to get up today. Wait, did I? You are so funny.
You didn't get up today, Cammy. You didn't. It's all a dream.
Living My Rhapsody wrote a comment, but I guess it hit it. I don't know why, because I don't think any of us did. Okay, Game of Theories with Marie. This is important. Bernard has a daughter. See, I never saw that. Okay, so what she's saying is a question. Bernard has a daughter? I never saw that.
I think it's Charlie. I think well, Charlotte Hell is Charlie. I think it's gonna end up coming up in season 2. Just I just, the name's too familiar. The big sad doe eyes that he remembers, and she's got the big sad doe eyes, and it's just too similar with the name, and the timing of her showing up was odd. And the weird part about her showing up too was Dr. Ford knew she was coming, but nobody else did, so it was just kind of weird, so yeah, I just got that feeling that, I really do think so.
Yeah, I don't know. We got to take everything we hear and see with a grain of sand. Everything's so important, yet a lot of what we see and hear could be wrong until we get it all wrapped up at the end, just like what happened with this last season. So I can't throw the theory out. You can find stuff to refute it. Sometimes it's hard to know for sure, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, let's go back to the chat.
Let's go back to the chat. Baby.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah.
I love you. Ooh, and one more thing. I heard that.
No, I did not mean to hide Elamar, and I also wrote down here, if I blocked her, I don't know how. The last comment she made was
old song.
that we were doing a really good job, and I don't understand. Hold on, let me go to her last. Oh, hi, Iron Trone and Angelina. Hi.
They got this long break in there. Like, wow, that was
Good to see y'all.
innovative at the time.
No, absolutely not. I have never hidden somebody like that.
Huh?
Now it's got to, I've passed it. Maybe, hold on. And I can try to, Living My Rhapsody was hidden by Lady Wolverton's 10. See, usually I can hit it and say no. I don't understand. I really don't. Hold on. Let me check something out.
Who wrote?
No.
They were listening to what he said.
No.
We don't want to.
Ion, we can't do that with the Westworld Funko Prime video because I don't.
Somebody, Reed, do you mind Googling how you hide somebody in a live stream? I don't.
Who's hid? Elmar's hidden?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, she is.
I don't know why I didn't hit anything, and I read her last comment.
Huh.
No, I actually made the damn screen too little. Shit.
My chat was messing up a lot. I've had to reload it like 4 times.
Hold on, I can fix it, I think.
Chris White.
You figured it out.
And then
I can't really hear you.
I love you. I thought there'd be 100.
Just give me a sec, please.
it went right to it, man.
Wow.
I guess they know it. I guess they know it.
Doo-doo.
Yeah.
Am I stuck on here? I can't even see the chat, guys.
I was about to say, I think she disconnected it. I'm here still.
It still says live.
I know.
Okay. Let's talk about.
For a second.
Let's see. What do you think is going to happen this episode coming up? What do you think we're going to see?
I don't know, because they kind of threw us off last week with the throwback. So I think we're probably going to get a peek at the weapon for sure.
Yeah.
Just because, I think they're leading us to showing us the weapon.
What about the room full of Bernards?
Oh, yeah. No, that's definitely got to be coming up. Hopefully we'll get to see Samurai World. We did get the little tease with the tiger at the end of the trailer. I know that. And then last week they showed Maeve and the outfit. I remember, but that was like for the season. I know. So hopefully we get some other world.
The tiger might have come from Shogun World. I'm not sure because if you think about Japan, were there ever tigers on Japan? I'm not sure.
Well, in Asia, yeah, maybe
Yeah, but
tigers.
Japanese is the only samurais.
Yeah. Well,
But I don't
this is
know. It
something
could be.
I'm wondering how they're going to do the worlds. Are they going to do them like Animal Kingdom sort of world, where they're going to have it like a zoo park type sort of place? And then, like, is it going to be just like Samurai Shogun sort of world? Or is it going to be set up like Japan or something? Like, I don't know if you've ever been to Epcot, but Epcot has all the different countries, and it's like you can go through all the different countries like you're touring around the world.
Right.
And so are they going to have something like that going on? And is that what she's really going to? Is that where the samurais are really going to be?
Well, you've got the. We've seen the geishas too in the previews, so it's going to be a
Right.
whole world. So I'm guessing
Right.
it would be basically Japan, and maybe the tiger come from a different park. Whatever Park 6 is, we'll find out. I'm sure soon enough when Floki tells us. I'm just joking.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he's Floki. He'll always be Floki.
oh god, I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about? Somebody just texted me. Oh, the park. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a few different worlds. You got medieval. You've got Roman world. You've got maybe
I know
future
they
world,
said
which
they
I think
weren't
we
going
might
to
have seen
do.
already.
Yeah, they said that they weren't going to do the worlds from the movies. I know that.
Okay, so then the future world plot ain't gonna happen probably then.
Yeah.
Oh, them sending out politicians that are hosts and keeping the politicians there or whatever, like they did in future world. Hopefully that
You
don't
know,
happen. But
yeah, that's what I'm kind of wondering if maybe that's what the weapon is. Maybe if that's they have hosts that are already in the DNA and everything from the guests, because I mean these are obviously rich people, world leaders, influential people in the world that are coming to Westworld to the park, and I'm wondering if maybe that's what the weapon is their host and their DNA and memories extracted into them, and they're going to basically take them over and control them. I mean, they might
maybe
actually incorporate future world sort of into it.
that, or they already have a bunch of bodies down there waiting for a brain transplant, or how they're already working on being able to put your consciousness into a CPU by reading your brain waves. So
Oh yeah.
who's to say that's not what they're doing? That would be a better plot for me, but BBM will probably find a hole in that too.
I remember even as a kid, this is kind of even freaky, and this was like in fourth grade, I think, and we went to, and I live in Jacksonville, in Florida here, and we went to it was a factory, it's an AI factory actually, and I still have the picture somewhere in a big suitcase, and we took pictures with them, and they made them for like even they made stuff for like everything from Sesame Street to Disney World even, and we got to go and see the robots and see how they were made, and it was really crazy because I mean this is like